What's up, boys? It's Saturday morning. I've just finished my morning cardio, smashed the morning routine. I had a couple of battles with the morning routine. If you follow me on Instagram, you will have seen my story, but we got through it. And then I went to the mosque, prayed, and got straight to the gym, did my back and forearms workout and some cardio, and my shape's really starting to come through now. I'll put a video on my Instagram story now after this video, but my abs are coming in. After neglecting my physique for so long, this is the best I've felt, because I've been prioritizing my fitness and therefore my discipline, and all of the discipline and all of the consistency and all of my work ethic is all just coming together into this one beautiful system now. And this is what I lacked so much over the past 2 years running my sales agency, which is what this video is going to be about today. So I'm going to go into how it all started, how I even started the sales agency, how we generated 7 figures of revenue, and then how we didn't end up even getting any of it, and everything that happened with the clients and everything that happened with me. So I'm filming in the car today because my roommate has his girl round, and it's 8 in the morning. I don't want to come in here because I'm probably going to get quite passionate. So if you're not ready for a passionate rant where I'm teaching you everything that's gone wrong and everything that went well and everything that's helped me get to the position I'm in now, then please scroll off the video. This isn't for you. But for you guys that you want to take these lessons, you want to apply them to your own life, you've seen my development over the past few months and you see where I am now, then this is for you. Okay. So when I first finished uni, I was 22 and I was at complete rock bottom. I had just quit all of my vices. I was addicted to drugs for 8 years. I always sought after the validation of other people. I never truly loved myself. And I grew up as like a minority in like a very white area, but I was brown and my family were Muslim. And my parents were good. They tried to instill a lot of good values. They had their ups and downs in like the way that they did certain things, but my relationship with them started to deteriorate more the more that I got older, because I started to look up to my friends over my family. So I wanted to be more like the white guys, and then eventually that led to me going away from Islam. That led to me getting consumed in this life of sin, partying, chasing girls, all of that, because I just really wanted that validation that I never had before. I never got the girls I wanted. I never got the things that I wanted in the shop. Like other people go on like these holidays, other people go on like get this Xbox and stuff whenever they wanted, but my parents, they tried to instill discipline in us. And obviously they had a bit of a scarcity mindset with money as well, so that would really frustrate me. So there was a bunch of things that I was chasing that I didn't have, and I thought the way to do that was to try and emulate the people around me as if they were superior. So because I was also like bullied for being short and bullied for being brown, I'd always put these white people and all these other people above me in my life. So that led to my destruction over the few years. Then when I got to uni, I started discovering who I was a bit more, and then that led to me kind of going down an even worse path, because I was a bit more ingrained with who I was and my like brown identity, and like I labeled myself as Muslim, but I wasn't a Muslim. Didn't even believe in God. But yeah, then I was a big degenerate there. Then I started making haram money, and all of this just like amalgamation of sin and filth and all of that just built up to this pot of my last like year in uni. I'd gone through personal development to the point where I would self-improve for like 2 months at a time. Like when I'd go home for summer or whatever over my time in uni, I'd start waking up a bit earlier and started working a job and started hitting the gym consistently. And then when I'd go back to uni, it'd go out the window. But in my third year of uni, there was a few girls that I really liked, like one in particular, and I really wanted to like just be the best so I could get her. And then she ended up chasing me. And then in my like, I had a few different things happen, like with falling out with friends, certain friends that were kind of holding me back, and I went all in on just trying to make money, and I did it obviously in the haram way, and I started trying to come back to Islam a little bit more, and I got in the best shape of my life. Over the summer, I was hitting the gym so hard, I was building a really good muscle base, but I was still fat. And then like, I just saw progress with my physique for the first time ever, and I was like, wow, this is crazy. This is crazy. So that led to me getting more confidence, and I actually started making more money because I was speaking with more conviction. I developed more social status around me, all of that. And then a few months after that, I started getting into even better shape. Like I shredded down, all the muscle that I'd built was revealed, and that's when more doors opened for me. I bought like this Moncler coat and I thought I was the big man on campus at the time. Went to Dubai with my boy Ivilo, who lives there, and spent whatever last money I had to go there. It was like 2k on flights, and then like I only took like £1,000 to spend whilst I was there, but I felt like my status and everything was coming together. I was 21 at this point, and I'm looking at like all this wealth in Dubai, the women, everything. I was like, I need to level up. I need to level up. And it came to this point where I was finishing uni, and like everyone else around me was thinking about getting jobs. I was like, hell no, I can't get a job. There is no way on earth that I can get a job. Because I'd already built discipline, I'd already built consistency. And this was the time that like Tate and all these guys were on social media like really big, and I was like, there's so much money in this world, like I can't work a job. And I've always been very ambitious. I've always known that I can achieve a lot because my parents filled me up with that cup when I was young. They'd always tell me, like I was always very intelligent. I could read like books and the Quran when I was like 2 years old. I did well in school, but I just didn't apply myself fully. And that has been one of the biggest things in my life, just having the ability but not fully applying myself. So when I'd built that discipline and consistency through applying myself in the gym, and then that applied to me making a bit of money, I was like, there's no way I'm working a job. If I just completely apply myself, I can make this stuff work. So it got to the very end of uni. Everyone else was getting jobs. My family were like having conversations about me like, this guy is just done an economics degree. Why is he not applying to these banks? What's he doing? What's he going to do with his life? But I knew the direction I was going on. I knew it. Because when you have a belief about yourself and you truly believe it, it's backed up by your daily habits and your consistent actions, that dream's going to come true. As long as you have faith in God, as long as you're doing everything else right, as long as you're actually trying, not just like showing up and ticking a box, actually desiring it and trying, and you have confidence and self-belief that it's going to happen, it will happen. So I had to work this like 9-to-5 sales job in the end because I needed some money. And at the same time, I got into Forex. I was blowing a bunch of money doing that. I thought that money could come easy. I just didn't really understand. I was like, if I just follow these guys' signal groups, there's no way I don't make money. Like, why would I not make money? So that's what I did. Sorry, I just had to make sure the camera angle was sorted because I'm gonna talk to you guys whilst I drive home. But I blew so much of my money on those Forex signal groups, just thinking that like money could come quick. So I had to learn that lesson, because you don't learn things unless you try. But this is really important, because this same thinking is what also shot me in the foot a bit later. So I was doing the Forex, and then I was working the 9 to 5, and I was like, right, I'm in good shape. And I'm seeing like HS Tiki and all these guys online making money with like fitness, like selling fitness plans and stuff. And I was like, right, I need to get into this. So I started posting videos on TikTok, but it was like mindset videos, and I was making these videos like about escaping the matrix and stuff. But I was being genuinely serious, because I was also at the same time on my 9 to 5, at the same time as doing Forex, at the same time as doing my fitness brand. I was also editing video clips for Andrew Tate and HS Tiki to help them grow their brand, so I could get paid a commission, affiliate marketing. So I'm watching their content all the time, and it's like escape the matrix. So then I'm like, right, this content's doing well, I'm gonna do the same thing. So I'm just there like, guys, I've just finished uni, and I need to tell you why uni's a scam. And I'm getting so much hate, and my accounts didn't grow, because like I just didn't understand what to post, how to post. Like I was just acting like this big authority, as if like people just had to listen to me. And like I was just trying everything. I was like, there's no way that I'm gonna keep living this life. Like in the 9 to 5, everyone around me was so plugged in, bro, so programmed. Everyone was like, oh yeah, well, on Fridays we get to wear non-uniform, and yeah, well, sometimes they order us pizza, and then I go in and they're nothing like me, bro, nothing like me. And I'm 22, and I'm looking at like this guy that's like 24. I'm 24 now, and alhamdulillah, I'm where I thought I would be. I thought I might have been a bit more successful, but this guy's 24 and he's like happy starting this job, and he was like, yeah, well, we're pretty much the same age. And in my head I was like, no, we are not. 24, bro. Like, I couldn't understand how people would just settle for this success, for this lack of success, when I had such big dreams and such big ambitions for myself. So I've always been this way, especially since I went in on my personal development. And in this job, I'm still hitting the gym every day. I'm eating my meal prep in between sales calls. On my lunch, I don't want to speak to any of them, because they just plagued my mindset. They just made me think less. They made me, oh man, it's like one time I was talking to this one guy. There was 2 guys in that work that were on it, and one of the guys, I was like, bro, when I get 20k a month, when I hit 20k a month, I'm gonna move to Dubai. And one guy overheard me, and this guy was such a matrix agent. Like, he's got nothing going for him. He drives like a Fiat Punto, and like flipping plays football and watches football. All he talks about is football, and it's always these football wankers that have nothing going for them. And he was like, oh, 20k a month, so never then. And in my head I was just like, fuck you, like, how do you think like this? This is why you're in the same position day in, day out, week in, week out, month in, month out. And this is why you'll never amount to anything, because someone else voices his goals and his ambition, and the first thing, instead of considering how that could be possible, is you tear it down because you don't believe it possible for yourself. That stuff really gets me going. I'm sorry, this doesn't even have anything to do with the video, but man, I can't believe that people impose limiting beliefs on themselves. And the reason it gets me so riled up is I was physically and mentally doing more than him, and because he wasn't, he thought he put me on his standard. And this is in line with the video. When you hold yourself to a higher standard, you naturally know and believe that you can achieve more. So these months are going by, I'm getting more and more frustrated in this sales job. And I see my boy, I started appointment setting. This is like the 5th thing I was doing now. I started getting into high ticket sales. I saw this guy on TikTok talking about it. and I paid £500 to join his mentorship and course, and that was a big investment for me. That was like half of the money I had in my bank account, and I spent that money and I started learning that, and then I started some high ticket sales roles. I made no money doing that, but it's because I was juggling 5 things at once like an idiot, which is another recurring theme. But I made no money doing that. So it got to the point where I made no money doing that. I was in my 9 to 5, my TikTok account wasn't growing, and I was like, man, what the hell do I do? Like, I'm putting so much of this energy out there. I'm in great shape. I'm taking my fitness proper seriously. I bulked up to the point where I looked like a monster at this point. Everyone thought I was on steroids. Everyone in the work was like, oh, you're on steroids. And I was like, right, okay. Bro. And like, it just got... I'd had enough, but I knew that I could never quit. But I kept making this prayer to Allah that by the time it comes to like November, December, I want to be moving to Dubai. I didn't know how that looked, right? And obviously I'm not in Dubai right now, but I had this vision, like, I'm not going to be in this job by that time. And it gets to October time, just before Halloween, and I see this guy that I knew from uni. He was making a bit of money in door-to-door sales before, and then he's gone off grid for like a year. He went traveling and stuff, and I didn't see him. And he posts a picture in Dubai with a Lambo. I'm like, bro, what? Like that? I was moving out. Me and my parents were moving house that day, moving out of that hometown, the white town that led to my demise. We moved to a different place where we'd always gone to the mosque, and I'd started coming back to Islam now. My brother had started coming back to Islam. We were all we were making strides in the right direction, alhamdulillah. So I'm moving house, and I'm already thinking about new beginnings, new opportunities, and then I see this mother flipper in a Lambo in Dubai, and I was so angry. My blood was on fire. And I didn't know he was making money through door-to-door sales. I was like, what online money is he making to do this? Anyway, I speak to him. I message him straight away. We have a bit of a conversation, and then he tells me that he was actually making money through door-to-door sales. We get on a call. Within 2 days, I go and meet him for coffee, and then... I got on a phone call. Then I go meet him for coffee. And then I quit my job because he shows me the opportunity at hand. He made this like PDF sheet of how much money you can make. And the way that it works, all sales, right? People have this like connotation of pyramid scheme. Everything's a pyramid scheme. Mackey's is a pyramid scheme. Why does a manager get paid more than a cheeseburger deliverer, or like a delivery driver, or someone that just takes orders? Because they have a different hierarchy in the company. So this guy was working for a company, but he was the big dog, so he had control over his team, and he had this nice structure for how much you can get paid. And it was door-to-door sales. We're selling boilers and insulation door-to-door. The same business that I did, but this is where I learned it. He had this nice structure, and he had this big like team builder thing for how everyone can get paid and how he gets paid the most and all that kind of stuff. So I quit my job. It was Halloween. I went out on the weekend, and then I sent this resignation email. I quit my job, and I start knocking doors with this guy. And he's trying to button me up to it. He's really selling it to me. He's like, yeah, well, sometimes we get in the customer's house and they make us dinner, blah, blah, blah. Long story short, I didn't like it at first, but I knew there was money. And then I just started revising the training. I started just knocking like all the time. I started making sales, and then I was addicted. Then I was knocking 7 days a week. Within 4 weeks of being in that company, I became the top seller in the company, and he had a team builder structure which could then take you towards making millions. On paper, at my position, I could never have made the millions. At my position, I could have made like 10, 20k a month, but I could never have made the millions with that structure, just because of the volume it takes to actually install things. Like on paper, sure I could have, but in reality I couldn't. So the incentive was to bring more reps into his company, but under my team, so that he makes more money pretty much. So I did that. Within 8 weeks, I booked a trip to Dubai. So my prayer to go to Dubai had come true. My prayer to get out my 9 to 5 had come true. And I was the best seller in the country, and I started making my own sales team. Within 8 weeks, I had 8 people on my own sales team. That's how fast you can progress when your heart is on fire, when your soul is truly on fire. But what that led to, so I'm drinking my Monster this morning. It's not good for me, I know, but I'm probably going to switch back to coffee. But this is what got me through those 4 a.m. flipping wake ups on 3 hours sleep every night. So anyway, excuse me. So me being so valuable to this guy who's recruited me now, I bestseller in the country, I'm bringing him all these sales reps. He makes me this offer and he's like, I want you to run the Manchester office and you'll get paid for each sale that everyone in the office does. He's basically just trying to delegate and go to other parts of the country so that he can scale up his business. And I'm like, yeah, right, cool. Everyone already saw me as the leader. This guy, he was good at bringing people in. He was good at selling the dream, but like, he was good. I picked up things from him, but he was absent. He wouldn't be reliable when people needed him, and I took over that role, which is a form of delegation, I guess. So people already saw me as their leader. People already saw me as their manager. So for me to start running an office and start doing sales meetings, it was easy. But I was nervous starting to do it because I'd never done this stuff before, and I just come from this nobody and this 9 to 5 to this big dog, like making all these sales, going on a trip to Dubai, giving sales meetings. It was a big change in my identity. But it was only possible because I was so fast on my habits and all of the skills that I'd built in consistency and the discipline in the gym, and then everything else going forward, and all of the failed like 5 side hustles made me that when I came to this opportunity, I blew up overnight, just instantly. It's the plateau of latent potential. It's like you work, and then boom, you explode once you start doing the right thing. But that's why the development's so important. That's why you have to put that energy out there and build yourself up. But yeah, so this guy offers me that role to run the Manchester office, and then what does he do? He goes back on his word. I run his office, we get 2 back-to-back record weeks, and then I ask him, I'm like, yeah bro, so how much am I actually getting paid per everyone's sale? This is where greed beats people. This is where greed really just, it's disgusting. I was like, how much am I getting paid? He's like, oh yeah, well I thought about it, and yeah, I can't really pay you on that. So in my head I'm like, right, you then, you flipping idiot. I didn't know what to do in the present, but over the weeks passed by, and I became more aware to how much money was in this industry. And I started, people saw me on social media, especially after the Dubai trip, and they knew what I was doing. They knew how many sales I was getting. So I was getting offers to come work for installers direct rather than just through this guy, this company. So I spoke to a few different people. There's a couple other people in the company also spoke to a few different people, and then we eventually arranged a few meetings, and we thought we were going to move company. We thought that we were moving with an installer, but we actually got roped in with another marketing company who like sold it to us as if they were the installer. And this is where more problems unfolded. There was a sales team of like 30 guys. 10 of them were good. And we planned a purge, if you like, or like a heist, where we were going to move everyone over. And because everyone knew that I was the big G, they were like, right, we're moving. with you, because I was already managing them. I was already their boss pretty much. So yeah, we moved over. That guy that promised me the world and didn't deliver. And yeah, long story short, there's a couple like nuances. He clocked that we were moving, and then he was in Florida. He went on a trip to America, and then he comes back and realizes his whole team's gone. I felt bad. I actually wanted to like tell him thank you for everything that he taught me and all that kind of stuff, but he found out we were moving beforehand. So lesson from that, I should have told him sooner. And there's still a bit of guilt around this for me, because he did teach me a lot, but he also snaked me. He told me that he was going to give me this and that, and he didn't. His greed overcame him, and I guess greed overcame me a bit later down the line. But we moved to this new company. I'm getting paid triple what I was getting paid at this other company. I'm making like crazy money. I'm making like, this is my fast track to 1 million, and this is my biggest goal. Is like, I need to become a millionaire. I need to become a millionaire. And because I now started this new company, everyone in the company, we became so like obsessed with the money, because I guess it's due to my part as well, and my business partner at the time. We became so hyper fixated on, we need to make money, we need to make money, we need to make money, that I stopped going to the gym as intensely. I didn't have anyone around me that was holding me to that super high standard in the gym. I had one friend beforehand in uni and all the time leading up to this where we'd be super locked in on the gym together. But my business partner wasn't that big on the gym. Everyone in the sales team was following my lead, and I wasn't that big on the gym because of him. That's who I was surrounding myself with. I was still going every day, but I was so like overloaded with work. We moved like 10 guys over to this new company, and we were smashing it with deals, like generating like 50, 100, 200 deals a week. And the record with that other guy was like 70 deals under my leadership. So we hit the ground running, hitting new sales records, and it was like, we were counting up the money we were making, and we were like, bro, we're making like, first it was like, we made like 5k this week, then it was like, we made 10k this week, then we made 20k. I was like, we just need to make 20k every week, and then we're gonna be millionaires. And because I was so naive, I didn't understand that. I was just so obsessed on this revenue figure, like this money coming in, that I forgot about like actually fulfilling the deals. So I would just let this ego get to my head, like, we're making 20k a week, we're making 40k a week, we're hitting new records. We were doing 150 qualified deals per week. No company in the country was doing that. So this went on for months, and I was so attached to this like revenue figure that like all of my time would go into the business, and I stopped focusing on the things that got me to the point where I could even start the business. I stopped praying as hard. The prayer and all of that kind of stuff got me to the point where I could start the business and go to Dubai and all of these things. And then my focus in prayer diminished because I'd already achieved some success. I started getting fat in the gym because I was training less intense, and I was just eating whatever I wanted and eating a bunch of meal deals and just eating what I could whilst I was out working, because we were traveling the country. And everything went a bit tits up with the company too. Like we used to work in Manchester, and then all of the areas around that area got shut down, and there was a big like constraint in funding because a bunch of people in the industry were doing a lot of fraudulent stuff beforehand. So a lot of the funding got constricted. It was government scheme to sell boilers and stuff, so it was government funded. So we couldn't actually install a bunch of the jobs that we were generating with the current installers we had, with the marketing company we were working with. And then this whole amalgamation of like me being hyper focused on the business and me neglecting my personal development and me neglecting my relationship with God, it led to me having this over dependence on the business. And it's like I was losing self-respect but also being very arrogant at the same time. And a bunch of drama happened, because there was already the drama of me moving over with all the sales reps, moving to that new company and creating my own company. But then me and my business partner fell out because he got caught sending a deal to a different company that was like, I kind of knew about, but he didn't tell me the full story. And then he got the existing clients that I was working with that were paying us, like we're kind of dependent on them. They said that they didn't want to work with him anymore, and then they used that to create a rift between me and him. And he's super successful now. He makes like 100k a week now in the same industry, so props to him. If I'd stayed with him, I would have been on a way different path. Maybe I wouldn't be making these videos on social media, so alhamdulillah. But yeah, there was a bunch of drama, and then it led to this like codependency on me and the clients that I was working with. Because these clients, we were making them so much money on paper. I myself would have been a multimillionaire if all of these deals we were generating installed. But these clients would have made, they would have made like double what I'm making or more for less effort. Or the same for less effort, because I was working 18 hours every day, fulfilling deals in the business, training guys in the field, creating new training, managing the operations of like people calling me, got this going on with the customer, they got this going on with the installer, is this going to go on, why are we not getting paid? Like, my life was crazy, my life was so hectic, and I loved it. But the man that I was, like, I was so emotionally volatile, because people would come to me for these solutions and problems, and if I didn't know the answer to something, or someone would question my leadership, which they should have, because I was getting fat in front of their eyes, and there were some things I didn't know, but I didn't know how to be humble. I only knew like this arrogant Andrew Tate style of leadership. I was a good leader, but don't get me wrong, but there was some things that I did wrong, but no one else produced the results that I produced. So the numbers speak for themselves. But because of this amalgamation of just like stress and lack of development, and then this toxic relationship I'm building with these clients where they're manipulating me to stay with them and trying to eliminate all the alternatives, because they knew that if I just realized I'm getting that they couldn't install the jobs I'm giving them, that they can't handle the volume that I'm generating, and if I just went directly to an installer, I'd get paid more and fix the issues. They made it like this no other solution thing, like, oh, we'll call up these other installers. It's linear in this whole market. Everyone in this market's suffering, which they were. But they made it seem like there was no other option for me, and because I was so like dependent on them, I'd always listen to them. But in reality, if I'd left earlier, I would have been paid so much more. I would have fixed the constraints. And this is why, as a recurring theme, you don't ever listen to what other people think. Like, you can have mentors, you can have all these people, but you still need to use your own judgment. And I blindly relied on these people. You need to look at the facts as well. These people, when I met them, these clients, they pulled up in a Hyundai Ioniq. They're not people I wanted to be like. They didn't have the money I wanted. I met them in some dirty, like, Turkish takeaway. So the mentor that I have now, I shut my brain off and I listen to him, because he's actually lives the life I want, and I've seen how it's worked for him in his life. I've seen his growth from 0 to 100 documented. So I trust him. These people, they were not people I wanted to be like. I just developed a trauma bond with them. These clients, flipping Ryan and Harge, disgusting people, bro. So they've just kept taking these leads I'm giving them, developed this toxic relationship, until I'm managing my sales team and still pumping out volume of deals, whilst we're only getting paid on these things called advances. So you get paid when the boiler or insulation gets installed in full. So let's say I got £1,000 for that. Let's say that I got that. I get a bit more now. But let's say that that's what I'm worth. And then I've got to pay the rep £500. They pay the rep £200 so that the rep doesn't quit. So like it keeps them going until the install. And I'm pretty sure that the installers were paying this, but they lied to me and said that they were paying it so that I wouldn't go to an installer myself. See the manipulation? But then again, it was stupid of me for not reacting faster and realizing this. But the few limited installers I spoke to said they wouldn't do it. So that just you can't stop digging just because one person said no. You know, it's the same with sales. It's like all the lessons I've taught my guys in the sales team, I should have been applying to my own life. Like, you don't stop at one no, you don't stop at one rejection, you keep going. Such a flipping idiot in hindsight. Such an idiot. But because I did that, I was dependent on them to pay our reps. The reps were getting paid that £200, and then a bunch of other deals would cancel because the customers are like, it's been 6 months, we've not had the install, what's going on, we're going to cancel. Or people just change their mind over time anyway. And it got to the point of this repeated loop. Bear in mind, I'm talking about the reps were getting paid £200. I'm getting paid nothing on the deals of the guys that I'm managing, training, coaching, nothing, until they get an install. And every once in a while there'd be an install that had tied me over, but it wasn't often. So I'm struggling, bro. I'm just flipping. I'm going through it. I'm making no money. Some weeks I'm happy if I make £200. The only money I'd make is if I went and knocked a door myself, and like I was good at that anyway, so I could make deals whenever I wanted. But trying to manage this team of 30 guys whilst having, we scaled it up to 30 people, whilst having to like manage them and not try and make my own money and make new training and deal with all the fires that are going on a day to day. It was not a fun time. And then I just like, my gym sessions were so poor because I'd spend half an hour and then I'd already be the whole time I'm thinking about, right, what do we need to do tomorrow, what do we need to do with this and that. And my inputs were so bad because I had no structure or routine. I was missing my morning prayer. I was waking up at like 9 a.m. and then instantly hopping on a Zoom call to set the guys out for the day. And then like I had pure chaos in my life. I couldn't cope with everything that was going on. Like if I had the habits that I have now, my 4 a.m. wake up, my connection with Allah, and I managed to get my fitness and all that stuff done in the morning, and then I hopped on the Zoom calls, and then I was putting out the fires, and then by 9 p.m. I'm in bed, man, and I had that strong connection with Allah, then man, like everything would have been so much smoother. Like now I know though. Now I know, and people would have respected me more on the team. I would have been a better leader. I would have come up with solutions faster because I have that self-respect and energy and confidence. Probably would have moved opportunity or figure out some way to make cash flow quicker, or just found a new installer, and that's exactly what I would have done with who I am now. But you have to learn these things. You have to learn these things through failure, through mistakes, through trial and error. Where was I? Yeah, so I'm not getting paid. The guys are now getting raped by cancels because their customers are cancelling, or these guys are like paying us advances even on things that couldn't go through. So then some of the guys are making no money, and like, man, this was like a messed up time. So messed up. Like, we're promised all these millions, and I'm literally on the phone to them every night, and I'm like, we're making millions in revenue. What the hell is going on? Why can't you get this done? And then these guys are like manipulators. Like if you guys come into sales or you just encounter these kind of people, what they'll do is they'll try and like overly force this bond and relationship with you. Like this guy Ryan, he'd always talk to me like as if I was his best friend. I've met him like twice, and he made me really dependent on him. Which is like, yeah, I've still got to take responsibility on my part. He'd always future pace. Like, oh yeah, well, we really want to see you, and like proper like a toxic like boyfriend. Like stuff, I'm not gay, bro, but like, you know what I mean? Like, I feel sorry for his girlfriends or exes. And he'd like future pace, like, yeah, I just want to see you and all this stuff, and like make me feel special. I'm like 22 and he's like 30 at this point, or 28 or something, and he's like future pacing, like, yeah, we're gonna go on holiday when all this stuff's sorted, and yeah, in the future it's going to be so much better, and in the future I want you to manage more of our teams, and we can talk about how much money you're going to make there, and we could even do some kind of salary. I'm like, salary, bro? I don't want any salary. It's my business. And they were just really good at making me dependent on them, like creating this us versus them dynamic. Like, all of the people we had to beat, like the old company we left, they're our enemy. The old business partner I had, he's my enemy. Anyone who leaves, a very cult-like following, that's what they made it out to be. So eventually it gets to the point where I look around, my team are dying, like bare people, so many people are leaving now, and the ones who are loyal to me, the closest to me, them are like closest friends, Brad, Eden, Karai, Fabio stayed till the end. I had a couple of close friends, you guys, if you go back to the start of this channel, Imran, he left. He actually kind of snaked me with this guy Fahim. Yeah, now I look back, it wasn't so much snaked, but like, I did a lot for those guys, and just the way that they tried to make me look, I didn't like it. Felt like there was a lot of disrespect there, but we live in a disrespectful industry. I didn't really respect myself, so of course other people are going to try to disrespect me. He left to another company, they were getting paid, and I went for an Umrah trip with like the last money in my account. Team's falling apart. I'm literally getting calls whilst I'm on Umrah, like, oh bro, I'm leaving. And I turned into a dictator at this point. I was so like fed up of everything. I was like lashing out at people. People would try to question, what's going on? I'm like, I've got it under control. And like, they'd ask me why these certain rules were in place, and I didn't even know why they were in place, but I was just doing what these clients were telling me. And then I'd be like, why are you fucking asking? Why don't you just fucking listen? Like, I was being such a horrible person, and my faith in Allah was just like even lower. My sins were piling up, and I just reached this point of like, flipping hell, like all of that positive momentum I built when I started the business, it was like now it's a mountain of just sin and regret and guilt, and like, flipping hell, man, everything was going wrong. So then I'm getting these calls whilst I'm on Umrah. I lashed out at this guy Jordan. He was like top biller, he was really good, but he had issues with motivation when the pipeline was slow, and we realised we weren't really getting paid, which is fair enough. And I lashed out at him, and I shouldn't have. He was a really good guy. But yeah, I came back from Umrah. Team was falling apart even more, and then this guy who snaked me, Fahim, he invited me to this office because we shared an office. Still, it was really autistic, I know. And he pitched me to come and join his company. And at this point, I had to like sink or swim. And they were getting installs, they were getting paid, and we weren't. So I was like, right, it's a no-brainer, I'm gonna do it. So I left those clients that weren't paying us, but they still had 7 figures worth of our deals, not installed, not fulfilled, but just sat there on this spreadsheet. They said it was with their installers and all this kind of stuff, but they're not doing shit. And it's been months and months. There are leads, like, I can go and send those to installers, but I was just doing it through them because I was working with them at the time. And now I'm leaving, I'm like, you guys aren't doing shit. I'm taking these leads back. You guys have been screwing us for the longest time, the absolute longest time, saying that you're paying us these advances, but really they're coming from the installer. Really, that's just a payment for these guys going out knocking in the rain and the cold all of the time for you, because we were putting these with you. And I told them, like, all right, well, I'm leaving. Still tried to manipulate me on the call, and we left to this new company where they were actually getting paid. Long story short, then we moved directly to the installers, and then I realized how much more I should be getting paid and how much faster I should be getting paid. And this was in line with like the industry coming back to life, and I was like, right, I'm taking back my leads. You guys have done nothing with them. You paid us like £200 a sale, and they were getting some installs, by the way. So all of the cost of like what they were paying in the £200, they probably recouped anyway. There was some coming through. Like some weeks I'd make like 2k, and then the next week I make 0, and it was just really inconsistent. I think I made 30k that year, but I was working 18 hours every day, and I should have made millions. Some weeks I didn't, like all my money would go back into the business and software and incentives for the guys. Like I didn't really have any money in my car payments. Sometimes I'd have to borrow money from my car payments, and I was such an idiot. I was spending all my money on trips trying to pre-live this successful lifestyle. I feel like I've skipped over a bunch in this video. I don't know if you know if I'm going to post this, but like I was taking all these trips with whatever money came in because I was trying to live this successful lifestyle before I was even successful, and I forgot about the successful habits, which is why like everything went to my demise with this business, and I didn't react faster, and like everything went to pop. This business would have made me a millionaire at 22 if I had stayed fast to my development, but I didn't. I let go of my early mornings, I let go of my gym, I let go of everything that was actually important to me. That was my fault completely, but it's the way that things go. So a few months go by. I'm like, yeah, right, I'm getting these deals installed by myself, so I have to go re-knock the customers. I have to recall all of the leads I've been going through, and I tell the company, and they start like getting all this resistance now because now they're getting installs, but they've had a year of my leads and they've done nothing with them. They weren't competent enough. This other company that we moved to, they were getting installs this whole time. So it was their incompetence, their own incompetence, that led to us not getting paid because of their shitty installers and the weird like contracts they made with them. They probably didn't want to go and pay us or move installers because they were so dependent on these installers paying the advance payments, if you follow in, if that makes sense. Because they were paying the advance payments and they didn't know any installer that could. They were so dependent on giving the leads to them instead of doing what was in our best interest. I think that's what happened. Because they didn't want to be in debt to these installers. So I'm like, right, I'm moving these deals over now. You. And we do it on good terms, but then they try hit me with this contract. Like, they were already installing what they could on their end, and I was fine with that because I knew that that would cover whatever we'd owed them. But they tried to f me over and try to like say that I owed them £80,000 in advances. So I get my lawyer on the case, and I'm like, where do I stand here? He's like, you don't owe them anything. That was the payment to your reps. Not even me as a company, to my reps. They paid it direct to my reps. And it wasn't even them paying it probably, but that was their payment for work done. They've not paid you on all of the rest. They owe you on the rest, or you can just take back your leads and install them yourself. So they send me some contract that would obviously screw me. They want me to acknowledge in the contract that I owe them £80,000, which I don't. And I should have made a contract saying that they owe me 7 figures. See if they pay that. Flipping idiots. So then I send this contract back, get it drawn up. They didn't sign it because they knew that they couldn't screw me over. We went back and forth for a few drafts, and eventually they left it. And yeah, because of their own incompetence, we didn't get paid for a full year. So I started fulfilling these deals myself now, and funnily enough, I'm getting paid. And the reason why they didn't have any urgency to pay me is because they were probably getting paid a higher advance amount. So when they'd meet us in the team, they'd go out and like pay for these dinners. I'm like, bro, I'm so broke. How are you even paying for this as well? Because they were probably getting paid a bigger amount from the installers. That was tiding them over. whilst we were all suffering, they were getting paid. And the advances that they were paying our guys £200 advances, I reckon they were getting 300 or 400, and we were doing 150 a week. So I reckon they were making minimum 10k a week just in advances. 7.5 to 10k a week just in advances. So that's why. Was that right? 150 times 200. What's 150 times 200? 30k a week or 3k a week. I don't know, either or. They were making money. But yeah, long story short, I started fulfilling the deals myself. I started making 5 figures a month. I started being able to actually pay the guys for their hard labor. Some of them I still haven't even paid because their deals haven't gone through. And this other company now, because of me installing the deal, I started paying them back, you know, as well. They've been installing deals on their end, and I've been installing deals on my end. And like, there was a clause in the contract, even though we didn't sign it. It was like, I'll pay you guys back £200 for each deal of mine that goes through to negate this advance bill. I was doing that out of goodwill, legally standing and morally standing. I don't even think I had to pay that back, but I was just doing it out of goodwill. Like, yeah, fair enough. They promised me that they'd have some like live tracker, and they fucked me over with the amount they could pay me as well. You know, let's say that a deal was worth £1,000 because they'd made this like payback clause. It was like they deduct the original £2,000 plus they deduct another 400. Like, they made this arbitrary rule. But I was like, right, fine, I'm making enough from my own, what I'm doing on my own. I don't mind this 400. In hindsight, them, I should have just done it all myself. Idiots, bro. This is what happens when you're too nice and too naive, and you stop holding yourself to a high standard. You let people walk all over you. That's exactly what I did. So it got to the point where they told me that they'd have some live tracking. They're paying me whatever dribs and drabs they install every week. I'm making enough on my own. And they keep asking me like, what's installed on my end? But I don't even believe that they're telling me the truth about what's installed on their end. What if what they're actually paying me is right. So I confronted him. I'm like, he was like, what's installed on your end? I was like, no. He asked me like, have any addresses gone through? I was like, yeah, this has gone through, this has gone through. He's like, weren't you supposed to tell me? This is the client we used to work with. Weren't you supposed to tell me when you've had a deal installed? I was like, weren't you supposed to set up some live tracking system so that, because I have no idea if what you're actually paying me is right, what you're telling me is true. This was in June. He stopped replying to me now. So they're installing more deals than I am right now, because I've stopped like going out to the field. I've now focused more on selling this training, and I've focused more on my personal brand and my coaching now. They're installing a bunch of deals. They're probably making steady 6 to 7 figures just off the deals that we generated, and they're not paying me. And it's just a massive lesson into why you should always develop yourself, always hold yourself to the highest standard, because you're not going to allow manipulation from other people. You're going to still be a good leader for your team, where you can show up and make the right decisions, and you're not going to be hostile. You can have God on your side rather than God punishing you and teaching you a lesson, and you'll get to your goals way faster. And that's what I should have done. But because I got so caught up in the business, because I got so caught up in responding to things and drama and no emotional regulation and just letting people decide my fate for me, instead of me being so ingrained in my identity and my development and who I am, that I'm forging my own reality. Because I had all of those things lacking, I let these people run over me. I let circumstance happen to me. I got fat, didn't respect myself. And it's only earlier this year, funnily enough, the more self-respect I gained for myself and the more I fixed all the business, that's when I started taking the gym more serious. Because I looked at myself after Umrah and I was like, bro, you're fat. You need to level up again. And alhamdulillah, the closer I got to God, the closer I got to my routines, the closer I started to waking up at 4 a.m, the closer I started to respect myself and get in the best shape. the more money, the more progress, the more conviction, the more confidence, everything I've had in my life. Everything is on the other side of our development, boys. Everything. If you've made it this far, you're a real G. And I'm sorry, I feel like there was some parts of this video that were quite disjointed. I was just in my own head a bit. Whether I post it or not, I'll see after I've reviewed it. I might remake this at a later date. Hopefully you guys took the lessons from this video and understand that I wouldn't be a fraction of who I am now if it wasn't for me focusing on my personal development. And if you guys are entrepreneurs looking to get to that next level in your business, or you're just an ambitious guy that needs locking in the same personal development, the same mindset, the same habits, the same routine, the same consistency, everything that's helped me go from that broke kid to then starting a 7-figure sales agency, to then losing that agency, to then now reviving it and making some money and making strides, massive strides towards my success, and you want to come on that journey with me as well, you can either check out more of what I do on my Instagram. You can check the testimonials, the guys that I've worked with, and my daily stories, see how I live my life on a daily basis and how that's helping me become my best self in my business, in my life, everything. Or if you are wanting to take that next step in your life and your development and become that version of yourself that doesn't make the mistakes that I made last year, the version of you that is steadfast to everything, that is going to help him become the man that he needs to be, the one that can go past that plateau of latent potential and just build up that energy and build up consistency and build that discipline and build that confidence to whatever model or whatever opportunity you take. You're going to take it by the balls and go and crush and conquer. You can book in for a qualification call with me in my YouTube description. We can see if you are a good fit to work with me one-to-one and hopefully just take you to the next level, make you an absolute monster. But yeah, take the lessons from everything that I did wrong and everything that I did right in the start, everything I did wrong in the middle, and everything I did right at the end. And if you see my other videos, you know how I live my life on a day-to-day. It's always development first. It's always building the man and everything else follows. And not losing ourselves in that process. It takes us the furthest. I love you, boys. You have so much more potential than you realise. Don't squander it by focusing on one thing. Focus on your complete development as a man, and you're going to go crush this life in every single way. Keep pushing.